So today's scary story is about voodoo and witchcraft and how one girl accepted a gift from somebody that just happened to be not so good. Today's submitter's name is Kylie, and Kylie moved from Utah to Iowa to move into her own apartment when she was 17 years old. After moving in, she decides that she's gonna go visit her father with her mother. So they go over there for a visit, and her father has something to give her. He has a gift for her, and it's this fan. And this fan is not just any fan. This was a very intricate fan that her father's roommate had made for her. It had eagle feathers, an antler for a handle. It was bound together by leather, and the leather had porcupine quills attached to it as well. So her and her mother are just sitting there when her father hands her this fan. Now she sees it and she immediately gets a bad feeling. She looks over at her mother looks back at her, and it is very clear that this feeling is mutual between the two of them. But she doesn't want to seem ungrateful, so she kind of puts it as far away from her as she can without seeming ungrateful. Now as soon as her and her mother leave her father's house, her and her mother get in her car, and her mother looks at her and she says, "You need to get rid of that thing as soon as possible. That thing has terrible vibes attached to it." And she agrees. She doesn't really know what to do with it, so she decides that she's gonna leave it in her car for a few days, so that's what she does. Interestingly enough, her car starts having issues. She starts having car troubles. So she takes her car in to get serviced, and then she brings the fan, she puts it in her room, and she sets it on the desk in her room. Later that day when she gets home, her roommates ask her if the window was open in her room. And the reason that they ask her this is because they said that her door was shaking, like violently shaking, like someone was either in there shaking it or there was a lot of wind outside and the window is open. And she says, no, the window isn't open, and she goes to check it out. When Kylie walks in her room, she notices that the window is not open. In fact, it is not only not open, it is closed and locked. And she finds this weird because she never locks her window. It is summertime, so she keeps it closed, but she never locks it. She kind of brushes this off until she looks over on her desk and realizes that the fan is no longer on her desk, but it is sitting on her bed. So this really freaks her out, but she decides to brush it off because she's really tired, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna deal with this tomorrow. So she takes the fan, she puts it back on her desk, and then she goes to sleep. 2 o'clock in the morning, she wakes up to a noise. She's waking up a little daisy, and before she can even fully get herself sat up, she hears this BAM! And she realizes that the chest at the end of her bed has just opened and slammed by itself. But that is not the scariest part. The scariest part is that the fan is sitting at the foot of her bed again. So she literally says, nope, this is not happening. She grabs the fan. She literally says out loud, I don't know what you are, who you are, or what you came from, but you are not allowed in here. You are going in my closet, and that is where you are going to stay. You are not allowed to come out of my closet. She then takes the fan, she puts it on a shelf in her closet, and she shuts the door. Now, the next day, she goes to work, and she works in a restaurant as a cook, and she had become really close with one of the other cooks that worked there. This particular cook was actually teaching her how to read tarot cards at the time, and she came from a long line of witchcraft. She was also teaching her a little bit about witchcraft. So she went in the next day, and she asked her about this fan and said, hey, do you know what I should do? I got this weird fan from my father and I don't know what to do with it. This is what's happening. Kylie was afraid that she was gonna get cursed in some way because of this fan, because clearly there was something very wrong with the fan. So her coworker says, yeah, no problem, because this definitely sounds like it has some bad juju attached to it. So bring it in the next time you see me and I will take care of the fan. The only problem was that Kylie actually was taking off a couple days to hang out with her father, and her friend was taking off a couple weeks to go do something that she needed to do. So it would be 2 weeks before she would see her friend again, a friend that was supposed to fix this problem for her. So the next 2 weeks was rough, to say the least. Kylie said that every single night around 2 a.m. she would hear 3 knocks, always in threes, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes hard, sometimes soft, but always in threes and always at 2 o'clock in the morning. And one day she's sitting at her house and she's doing schoolwork, and she's at her desk in her bedroom, and the fan is in her closet, when all of a sudden she hears knock, 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 very slowly. She's trying to get schoolwork done, and she's like, not right now. Like, this is so annoying. This girl is brave, by the way. And then she hears it again. Knock, knock, knock. See, this is where it starts to get really terrifying, because she's trying to do schoolwork, so she's ignoring it, and she did ignore it the first 2 times, but then she hears it again. This time though, it sounds like there is an open fist frantically pounding on the door, like bam, 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 bam. Now she says to this thing, because she's in, I don't know how, I don't understand this girl. She says, please be quiet, I need to do work. And it stops. It just stops. But then it gets eerily quiet. She does not like how quiet it is. And all of a sudden she hears the door open. She slowly looks over at the door and she sees the scariest face she has ever seen in her life. It is a black face that looks like it is covered in soot with bright blue eyes, and it is just smiling at her in the most terrifying grin she had ever seen in her life. So she is scared at this point, but her innate reaction is to say, "Get your ass back in there right now." And the door just slams shut. After this, she's like, "I do not want this fan in my room." So she goes over to the closet and she picks up the fan bravely, and then she walks it out to her car and she puts it in her car. And then she comes back inside. The next day she goes to work and she tells her friend what is going on because she's absolutely terrified at this point. She can't sleep. Her friend's like, "Don't worry about it. I will take the fan. I will get rid of it. I'll do what's necessary." So her friend takes the fan and she says, "Okay, can you please message me later and tell me what you think and what happened with the fan?" And her friend says yes. She later hears back from her friend, and this is what her friend has to say. Her friend had taken it home and went to burn it because normally burning these things help. She goes to make the fire, she goes to slowly unwrap the fan, and as she's unwrapping the leather from the fan, something falls on her skirt and she realizes something horrifying. What falls on her skirt is a human knuckle. So the person who made it had put a notch in the antler, which was the handle, remember? Had tucked the knuckle in there and used it to wedge together the porcupine quills, making this look like almost a crown of quills made with a foundation of a human knuckle. Her friend told her that whoever had made this had done this with the intention for her not to trust her gut so that she could fall to the fate of a death curse. She ended up having to grind the knuckle down and throw it into the fire first to make sure that the curse was definitely not attached to Kylie anymore. Kylie said that still to this day, she has no idea who made this or why they made it because she talked to her dad's roommate, and her dad's roommate said that she was not a part of this. She was not a part of making this, and this is why. Her dad's friend said that she had made most of the fan and she had left it in her room uncompleted but almost completed, and when she had come back the next day, the fan was fully completed on her desk, and as far as she was concerned, no one had access to that room. So what do you guys think? Because this sounds very, very fishy to me. Having a fan that you made most of the way, but not all of the way, and then you left the room, and then the next day you come back and the fan is magically finished and you decide that you're going to gift it to somebody, and then that person starts experiencing hardships and hauntings. It's super fishy. What do you guys think? What do you think happened here? Because this is a true story. So I want to know where that human knuckle bone came from, because that is terrifying. Was somebody murdered? Like, what? How else do you get a human knuckle bone? Because something went down here that was not good. And she would love to know in the comments what you guys think. And I would love to know what you guys think, because this is insane. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It was a little different than my other stories, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. My name is Kaisa. I give spooky, scary stories on here every single night. If you like that, please subscribe and drop a comment to show your support. Liking always helps too, but otherwise, you guys are the absolute best. I love you. Thank you so much for helping my channel grow and for watching my videos. It means so much to me. Truly, truly, you guys are the best. So I hope you guys can do me this favor, and what is that? Have a spooky night. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you.